Football can be the greatest game in the world. If there are no people there to watch it, it becomes nothing.
Johnston. And a goal by Johnston. That makes it 2 by him.
We were magnificent. Magnificent.
Larson. Oh, he's in. Henrik Larsson. That is sensational. Nakamura.
The game is over. The Rebels have won.
He's done it! Jarman's put it in, and without a doubt, the European Cup is on its way.
We'll never stop. We'll stop at half-time, and we'll stop at the end of the game when we celebrate.
Yes, late again, as per usual. My fault, I know. Sorry, guys.
It wasn't your fault.
Everybody that's been sitting in the wings, my apologies. Big Daft Paddy struck again.
Sitting on the wings, just like Jota.
Aye, better be. I know. Frank Kennedy didn't actually mention. I know Frank Kennedy doesn't actually mention Jota, but
anyway, the news with Jota, as we all know, is pretty much non-existent this week. There's no point dwelling on it too much, apart from to say that no news is good news, and I think we all know what's going to happen. It's just a matter of time. Once he stopped gallivanting across all 7 continents.
Aye, absolutely. And once McGinty stopped jumping in, I'll do the introductions. Here we go, guys. Back again Tuesday night with the Jungle Gyms. Myself, Paddy, McGinty with the migraine-inducing football tap he's got on there, and Dale, the big bad bald bus wanker. How we doing, boys?
Good, mate. Good, man.
Good. Dale, just before I jump in with yourself, mate, McGinty, as you're the on-set football tap aficionado, go on, son. Tell us all about it. What is it?
Oh, this is from Leon, a team in Liga MXX, the
nice
Mexican league. Funny story with this one. Well, it's not a funny story, just interesting at least. It's actually by a company called Charlie. They're pretty much like the Mexican version of Umbro over there. They basically do 6, 7, 8 different clubs in the Mexican leagues. Pretty good quality stuff that they make, all legit, and obviously, high-end sports company in Mexico. But the last 2 seasons, at least that I'm aware of, last year they done a Day of the Dead celebration for 6 different teams. So they had 6 different shirts, all inspired by the Day of the Dead kind of Mexico thing. This year's version is for this special shirt that they do for these clubs, another 6 shirts for Lucha Libre, hence the wrestling mask.
I thought that was a gimp mask.
Well, close enough. But weirdly, before we get bogged down on that, I actually had this delivered, and it's because it's from a company called Charlie, spelt without the E at the end of it. It comes in an orange bag, branded Charlie across it with Mexico stamps on the side of it. The first package I've ever received, where the Home Office has slit it open, have a look inside it, I had to tape it back over with the Border Force UK Customs, just in case. I think it was a bit suspect, but it was just this.
Here's your Gavin. He's reporting for the gym. The gym now. Here, Charlie is quite popular in Mexico.
Aye. It's quite popular. Wish you know.
I knew one of the posts were written up in your big bag of Charlie for Mexico.
They must be mightily disappointed when they seen this inside it.
Aye, unfortunately, no. It was just a football tap with a gimp mask on it. Looks lovely,
nice,
mate.
I like the colours.
It's actually lovely, but it's very interesting. Nice. Tuesday, by the way, the Celtic taps back out. The new Celtic taps out today.
The away black and green one.
That lovely black and green one. It was obviously on pre-order, mate. So that's out released. Anybody wants to go and get it. It is lovely. I went down to the Celtic shop the other day.
It's nice.
And had a wee squeeze of the mannequins. That is lovely.
I do like it. It's just the back that disappoints me. That it's all
black. That's
Yeah.
exactly what I said, mate. That's the first thing I said as soon as I seen it.
Everything else about
it's so
brilliant.
nice, but I think if you don't put a number and a name on the back of it, it just looks far too bland. Looks very bland.
I imagine it's almost a cop-out by the manufacturers where they know they can't have something on the back, so they know it's going to be a black square.
Yeah.
So just mass produce it as is. It's probably cheap out.
Maybe it's just been set up for the Champions League.
The Champions League finals that we're going to be.
Aye. They always take a big strip off us anyway.
At the end of the day, I can't see the back when I'm wearing it. So,
I mean, your boyfriend can.
No comment.
So,
Great minds think alike, man. I was just going to say that, but you were too quick here, Paddy, man.
So was his boyfriend. Sorry, McGinty. If anybody else has been talking about it, it would have been name and go that.
Jesus
yeah,
Christ,
I know. I open myself to this.
Anyway, enough of the shenanigans. So obviously, first chance we spoke to you two guys for a while. We started off, me and Gavin were talking last week, and we had signed Vickers. Sorry, no, we were rumoured to be signing Vickers.
Yeah.
And obviously, on the Friday, it was announced that Vickers had signed permanently on a 4-year deal. So obviously we'll talk to you guys about that, but we also want to talk about the other signing that we've done, who is Harry Kewell into the coaching setup. So first of all, McGinty, tell us what you think about that, mate. Vickers and
Which
Kewell.
one?
So
Vickers and Kewell.
Both of them.
I'll go with Kewell first because I think I can be quicker talking about that one. Whereas the Vickers conversation, I think I'll end up in a mad tangent of positivity. Harry Kewell for me comes with a wealth of experience playing wise. He's done his coaching badges. He's had a few management jobs, not all been great, but he's clearly Ange appointed. He's there to help. He's there to be a coach. If anything that Celtic fans have learned in the last year is that bad managers can be great coaches. If you look at John Kennedy at home, you look at Sean Maloney, great coach apparently at Belgium, not that great at Hibs. Sometimes it doesn't work out. But Ange is getting a man in that he knows quite well, that speaks the same football language as him and all the rest of it. And Ange wants him in. It's a wealth of experience. He's played in the Champions League. He's played down south and all the rest of it. I'm happy to have him. Brilliant signing. If he can work wonders with some of the younger wingers and attackers, that'd be great. Absolutely fantastic.
Well, I seen a wee snippet earlier on. I didn't actually go in and read too much about it, but apparently a former Rangers player was saying that if Jota signs for Celtic, then Harry Kewell will basically turn him into a different class winger.
That's what I'm looking at. Harry Kewell signs, for obviously it has. I know when we had what's his name? Kennedy. How did I forget Kennedy's name? For the last 10 years, he's been a coach of some ilk. And we keep getting told he's not. We keep getting told that he's no the defensive coach and all this, but everybody has to say, well, he was a bloody good defender in his young days. Surely he coaches some aspect of the defence, even just through his experience. Harry Kewell is not going to come in and start coaching defenders. He's clearly going to coach the attackers. If he can come in and help take Jota up a level, brilliant. Come in, help bring Mikey Johnson on. He's been not slacking. He's been let down and letting us down. Maybe he comes in and he helps Mikey Johnson. Maybe he gets the last couple of years out of James Forrest. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I think he's a sort of name with the experience to come in to help all three of these guys just continue their developments at the various levels and stages that they're at.
Yep. Who else will be talking about there? Harry Kewell and CCV. Dale, I know this is a man that you like to talk about. Joe Hart, who previously wore the number 15 top last season, has been given the number 1 top, mate. And he's obviously
quite right.
He's more than delighted about that. So I know you like Joe Hart, so on you go, mate. Tell us what you think about that, buddy.
Aye, quite right, mate. He was obviously our number 1 last year. I think squad numbers in the last decade to 15 years mean absolutely nothing in relation to 1 to 11. A lot of players will pick tops regarding their parents' birthdays and fucking whatever else. Numbers mean so much to the club, but aye, Joe Hart's number 1, mate. I think he's pushing 36. Mm-hmm. I can see him, depending on his kind of family stuff and that, whether he stays at Celtic for the next 4 or 5 years. But it's a good move, I think, for a goalkeeper. If you've got the number 1 jersey on your back, it maybe means just that little bit more. But I said it on more than one occasion last year, talking to you, Paddy, on your podcast, and that Joe Hart as number 1. He was my favourite signing last year. in regards to not just the quality he brought in between the sticks. Obviously, the previous season in regards to Barkas and Bain no being up to scratch. That he's a fantastic signing, mate. I hope he stays for another 4 or 5 years. It's all good. It's all good in the hood and between the sticks. If Mr. Seagrass comes for United, which is obviously still not quite over the line, but quite very, very confident going into next year if Seagrass is there other than Bain. And I've never been a massive hater of Bain, as in he's utter shite, but if Joe Hart got injured, I would be worried if Bain was in between the sticks in big games like the Champions League coming up. So hopefully we get this guy on the line, because what I seen him last year was top class goalkeeping, and he's obviously willing to come to a club and play number 2. So I'm quite happy with that.
So I was just what we were going to roll into next, obviously talking about Joe Hart. So talking about the first the next line of transfer, kind of rumours, incomings, outgoings, Celtic. We've lost a couple of keepers. I say lost. We've either got rid of or sent a few out on loan. So Barkas is obviously he's away out on loan. Big Conor Hazard, I think, still away. We've lost like young Ryan Mullen, blah 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 blah. So Seagrass is one of the guys that's rumoured to be coming in, and I know McGinty, you've got a viewpoint on that, pal. What do you think about Seagrass coming in?
I'm trying to formulate this.
Bearing in mind last season we gave Scott Bain a 4-year deal.
Exactly. So I'm trying to formulate this in my mind to word it as best I can, as concisely as I can, not to hate on Seagrass, because until Bain signed that contract extension, was it 3 years or 4 years? I'd be all for Seagrass. I think he's been a great keeper at United. I think previous to United, he's had a bit of a name about him around the leagues and around the Europe and stuff. He comes with a lot better reputation. At United, he is bigger and better than they probably could have hoped for. I think he would be an ideal number 2 to Joe Hart. However, the Bain contract extension makes very little sense, other than Bain needs to be here to make up the numbers for the European squads, where we need X amount of homegrown talent and whatnot. That's the only way Bain makes sense. But it makes little sense to me to have him and Seagrass at the club as number 2s, when surely the hope is that Joe Hart for the next 2 years is the number 1. And we're all still surely looking at guys like young Toby to start stepping up. But if we bring in a Seagrass and have Bain for 4 years, what does that do for guys like Toby? Is it putting them down the pecking order for another 3 years, until Hart leaves, until Bain leaves, until Seagrass might step up as number 1? It's just development-wise, it doesn't make sense. Although I want to keep saying Seagrass on his own would be a fantastic number 2. And I don't think he's going to be the quality to be a number 1 that we want in the mode of Hart, Borge, Fraser Forster. I don't think Seagrass is going to be that level. But he's definitely the level of being a superb number 2 in the mode of your Lucas Zaluskers. Even Bain, in his first couple of years when he came on for that game against Rangers, and he had a brilliant game, and then I think he had a run of 10, 15 games, and we all thought maybe he could step up. I think having Hart now shows how far back we were with Gordon and Bain at the time a couple of years ago, to now having Hart again, where we're like, Hart's at the level of Borch and Fraser Forster, top of that game. If we want to continue there, for me, Seagrass doesn't go there. He's good, but he's not that good.
So, Frank, Dale, just 2 seconds, mate. Frank Kennedy says that Seagrass is not coming in to be number 3. Bain will be sold. Do you think, Dale?
That's what I was going to say.
Do you think that we've offered a 4-year deal to Scott Bain to sell him, Dale?
That was exactly what my point was going to be, mate. If you look at the kind of the structure of most clubs, not just in Scotland and Europe and that, and Scotland might be a wee step behind most European clubs, that you see in so many occasions that big clubs in England and Spain and Germany, France, wherever it may be, offer these guys 4 and 5 years contracts, and then 6 months later they sell them. So Scott Bain's now into the first 6 months of his contract. So if we are going to sell him and Seagrest is going to be the number 2, and then as McGinty says, one of the young keepers then steps up to be the number 3 goalkeeper, then Scott Bain is now worth more to Celtic as a sell-on clause as what he was 6 months ago, because he's got a 3.5-year contract. So whether or not we sell him for £1 million or whatever he's worth, then I think the longer contracts is all in the structure and the financial part of the club that maybe is a wee bit out of our fucking stratosphere that we don't understand as much. But I believe in Angie's philosophy and what he's trying to do. So close to Scott Bain's 4-year contract and signing Seagrest, then the 4-year contract might be a financial thing. That's the way I'm looking at it. Seagrest, if he signs, is definitely going to be number 2 next year, 100%.
Yeah, I agree with that last bit there. There's no way Seagrest signs here to play second fiddle to Bain.
No chance.
Hart. If anything, to challenge Hart to maybe. I mean, Seagrest is not going to sign for us, and with all due respect, he's not going to care about Toby. He's got to care about himself. So he's got to come in and he's going to recognise that Hart's number 1 for the next year or 2 years. And if he signs a 4-year deal, he's going to be looking to take that over, get a new deal from Celtic in a year or two's time, and have his own kind of 32 to 36 age range of being Celtic number 1, which is, as far as keepers are concerned, a great age to be at. What I would disagree with you slightly there, Del, is it doesn't make financial sense to me to give him a 4-year deal when how much money are we really going to get for Scott Bain? $1 million would be absolutely fantastic, but it's more likely.
It would be, but then we don't know what his weekly wages. I don't think his weekly wage will be.
Probably buttons.
There is no chance. But there is no chance on this planet anybody is signing Scott Bain for £1 million. No chance.
I don't think so. I think I was just talking kind of at the box. I don't think he's in a massive contract, but I think if we did sell him, then we would probably make money off it. Know what I mean?
My argument against it as a financial thing, though, is just purely that we've just ripped up Tom Roderick and Neil Beaton's contract with a year to go. If we were worried about finances or concerned about trying to recoup some sort of money when it's going to be minimal from Bain, I think we would have kept Roderick and Beaton and tried to have got, you'd at least got $2 million each for those two if we sold them. But we're more content to say fair dues to these guys who've given us 9 great years, invincibles, quadruples, got us back on the good foot and we Ange, enjoy the rest of your career sort of thing. We've let them go, all goodwill. If we were concerned about finances, I think we would have looked to try and make money off those two. I don't think financially is the motivation behind Bain.
No. Yeah. Well, I've said it to you off camera, McGinty. Joe Hart's obviously going to be number 1. He's going to be irreplaceable other than if he gets injured. Or if maybe gets a couple of games in the cup rounds or whatever. But I think every big club has got to have 3 good goalkeepers, at least a squad of 3 goalkeepers that are ready to step into to be number 1. Scott Bain's obviously been a number 1 at times. I'm not saying he's good enough to be number 1, but you've got a guy there who really should be, and no offence to him, but he really should be thanking his lucky stars that he's at Celtic, that he's got a 4-year deal. The thing for me about him getting the 4-year deal, I think, is the fact that he's Scottish. He'll be part of the homegrown quota, and he's more than happy to sit on the bench and be a number. But again, I don't think he's ever going to be number 1. I don't think he'll ever challenge Joe Hart. But I think Seagrist could come in and definitely challenge Bain to be number 2. Mm-hmm. And again, like if Hart gets injured, then who's going to step in? I would say Seagrist if he signs. You know what I mean? So, but that's what it is. I certainly don't think that we've offered Scott Bain a 4-year deal to sell him. I think that's...
No, I don't know so much. I don't know so much because you see what's happening now in Fitbin. They're offering all these guys. I think Everton done it with John Joe Kenny and sold him the day to Hertha Berlin.
Oh, they sold him?
I'm sure he signed with. I'm sure he signed with Hertha Berlin.
Are Hertha Berlin desperate?
Well, mate, honest to God, I would.
It was shite. It was shite.
It was really bad.
It really was, mate. As you know, I've always talked shite about my Everton connections, but he had a fantastic season last year for Everton. Really did.
Legit, I don't follow English football that much.
He really did. He really did, mate.
It.
I was as surprised as any Everton fan. I
Good
speak to a lot of Celtic fans that are toffees as well, that are from my area, that go down, and I watch all the Everton games as well. Aye, man, it was really, really good last year. But I think he signed a contract last year with Everton as well. But I'm sure I seen something on Sky Sports or Twitter earlier that he signed a 3-year contract with a German side. So, aye, as you say, I was surprised as anybody, because he was absolute fucking dog shite with us, man.
For me, when we had John Joe Kenny at the time, there was a lot of me thinking, who the hell and why the hell we signed this? There's at points at the start of last season, obviously, get rid of John Joe Kenny and Anthony Ralston starting to get appearances, and everybody's like, come on, to hell, how bad is our right back situation? Where third choice Everton 2 years ago signed for us on loan, and then our third choice right back last season was eventually getting game time. But as you just said there, Del, he seemingly had a good season last year, and so did Anthony Ralston. It can happen. Bad players can turn in great seasons.
Well, listen, we've spoken length about the goalkeepers, but I think that I probably will all agree here that we're just happy that Barkas isn't going to be part of the nucleus of that goalkeeping squad. So for me, listen, I know some guys are kind of questioning Scott Bain and talking about the methods behind the 4-year contract, this and that. He's definitely still better than Barkas. So at least that's one at the door.
I'm better than fucking Barkas.
Aye, so yeah.
I defended Barkas as much as I could the season before. Really think he got a hard time of it.
Not what?
In the moment, I thought he got a hard time of it.
Absolutely not,
he did too much wrong. But see, in hindsight,
I'll come to the Shetlands and kick that fucking Mexico tap right after you. He's a fucking absolute chicken.
Anyway, enough talk about Barkas and Bain, you pair of pricks. The man, the mythical fucking Fabrizio Romano was on Twitter. Was it last night there, wasn't it? And,
I think the last couple of days, mate. Aye.
He's basically hit us with the good and the bad. So first, he's released a Twitter statement that fucking Josip Juranovic has been courted by a couple of English clubs. And then he's then hit us with the
Jota.
The fact that Jota will be in the next couple of days.
Yeah.
So Frank Kennedy doesn't want to say Jota because he's sick of hearing all the stories about it.
He will say it's a matter of time.
Frank, he'll be in. Of course it will. So Romano's not really telling us anything much here, but Juranovic, mate, that was a surprise.
I think his Twitter post's been kind of rubbish, done it, with the Croatian FA and whoever else it may be, saying that he's very, very happy where he is, and he doesn't want to scupper his chances of the World Cup coming up in November. So Dale is better than Barkas. He looks more like Bartes. You're right, mate. I think he's been a wee bit scuppered, and the Croatian FA and other people have come out and said that he's very, very happy where he is. And I said it earlier that you don't often want to hear for the Celtic board as fans, because obviously it's been quite toxic the last wee while. Don't want to hark back too much to the Higgins stuff and all that, but I think when you hear all that stuff regarding an international Croatian player who plays with Celtic, who by the way is an absolute fan's favourite, then this is when you want the Celtic board just to jump out and say, listen, we've heard the rumours, it's not happening, he's going to be a Celtic player next year. Because when you hear that kind of player's going to be leaving the club and you're paying £700 and £800 for season tickets, you're like, fuck me, man, are we getting back to me again? So it was worrying, because the guy tends to be on the money, doesn't he? He tends to be on the money. Whatever he says on Twitter, he's normally quite on the ball, and he's not a bullshitter. He obviously can't get everything right, but I was quite worried when I read it, but I honestly don't know what's going to happen. It's the Celtic fucking rumour mill. We're all so used to it now, aren't we?
It's the start of the season. Well, it's not even the start of the season. It's fucking the silly season, rumour season. I think it was just a bit of a bolt out of the blue, and definitely a surprise like that his name was mentioned, Juranovic, because obviously we just signed him last season. He was on we signed him on a 5-year contract. Do you know what I mean? But
was it 5 years we signed him on?
5 years, mate. I'm sure.
A big contract.
Aye, 2026 his contract's up. You're right, Paddy. Aye, 2026 his contract's up.
So regardless of, you know, if anybody wants to come and test the waters, if they want to sign him, like, he's still on a 4-year contract. He's a Croatian international. He's 26, I think. So the ball's in Celtic's court. 27, sorry.
I think
27, aye.
So the ball's in Celtic's court, mate, in regards to that. But I do actually have a wee recollection, by the way, sorry mate for jumping in there, of Juranovic talking a few months ago in the media, basically saying that, like, you know, he's getting to that age where he's 26, 27, and he's still basically got a lot to do. So it could be talking himself up, it could be using the media, or it could be stupid fucking reports. That's what it is. Listen, see if he wants to go. But we'll be taking fucking $12 for you, you know what I mean?
That's exactly my attitude, mate. That's exactly my attitude. I spoke about it so many times that I think years ago when Celtic players left the club, you were so disappointed, you were pissed off, you were like, fuck him and blah blah blah. See now, I'm so laid back about players that come to Paradise. Whether they come and play for a year or they play for 5 years, whether Celtic fans like it or no, players that are coming into our club that are looking to progress their career, Celtic Football Club is a stepping stone now, and that's just the total reality of football. 100% a total reality of football. There's no way Jota's going to be here for fucking 8 years. There's no way. Possibly Matt O'Reilly is going to be there for the next 10 years. There's so many guys that will come in. See, as long as they come to Celtic, get their all, and if they get a big move, see, for me, well done, thanks very much, and good luck in your future endeavours, because it's Scottish football. We're absolutely fucking miles behind in European football standards. It's scary, and the gap's just growing and growing and growing. So I would be absolutely gutted if Juranovic left, but not surprised and wouldn't hold any grudges, because if I offered you fucking 50 grand more than more, Paddy, to start a new job, you're away. That's just the way it is, man. These guys have got families to look after the same as everybody else, and it's a very, very short career. It's a very short career, man.
You're not going to get millions of Callum McGregors, will you?
No, 100%, mate. Not a chance.
No,
Tony Ralston could be the next one.
100% agree with you, Del. I didn't realise it was a 5-year deal that he actually signed. I just assumed it was 4 years. The position of strength that Celtic are in, and the position of probably the mentality of Juranovic to sign a 5-year deal at 26, 27 probably says a lot about him in a positive light, where he probably is seeing Celtic initially when he signed for us, yes, as a potential stepping stone, but also as I can see myself here for a few years.
Yeah.
We've got Champions League football next year. I don't think he's in a major hurry to run away, but if he is to be sold, I would very much doubt it's going to be to a Southampton or Fulham, or, I mean, no disrespect, to Everton. I think if he goes down south after 1 year, I think if he goes down south after 1 year at Celtic, when you've got the lure, not even the lure, the actual promise of guaranteed Champions League football next season, when he's on such a big contract, I don't think he leaves this unless it is truly for like the top 6 in England. Is he that good?
I think with the World Cup coming up, mate, it's a massive window for a lot of players. Juranovic for me stays at Celtic. If he has a really, really good World Cup, then he'll go somewhere. And in regards to your Southampton stuff, mate, he's maybe 15 grand a week at Parkhead. See if Scott Parker and Fulham come in January and say there's 50 grand. He's fucking off, man. He's away.
More than likely, but see if it's in January after World Cup, we're getting top dollar for it, and I'm all happy for that.
There's the man, strange of the doctor. Yeah. If the price is right, no fucks given. Absolutely. I get the argument, right, that people say it's important to see where your players go into. Like, if a player moves to a bigger club, then it's a better representation of your club and how you've built the player up, blah, 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 blah. Me, I'm old school. I'm straight to the die. I couldn't give a fuck where they go. As long as we get them decent money in and we get a good replacement in. Do you know what I mean? But as you said, Dale, see if you get a guy in and you get 2 seasons with them for example, 2 seasons of quality, commitment, desire, fucking success, delighted. And if they move on, they get a bigger move and we get financially recouped.
100%, 100%, mate. And that's the way that Celtic Football Club are now. That's it, mate. Unless you're a Scott Brown or a Callum McGregor, possibly Greg Taylor, Tony Ralston, these guys are possibly going to stay with us for the rest of the career, but they're not just quite at that level. Juranovics and Jotas and Carter Vickers possibly that they could say we'll stay here for 15 years. But
this is a short career, as you said, Del, and it's a stepping stone at Celtic are now. We need to realise that this is not the 60s, 70s, or 80s anymore. Celtic is a stepping stone, and generally to the English Premier League. And we have such a great position of strength. And the fact that his contract's so big, the fact that we've got Champions League football next year, and the fact that I know, Paddy, you say you don't really care about where they go afterwards, which I totally get.
That's just me personally, mate.
No, I couldn't give a fuck either. I couldn't give a fuck where they go either.
I do get it, guys. However, it does matter where they go to for what we do later on. In that sense, it matters what the previous players have done. So we've got a reputation of Tierney going to Arsenal and looking good. Okay, Robertson didn't leave Celtic directly to Liverpool, but he's of that product. You've got Dembele going to Lyon, going to Atletico Madrid. You've got Virgil van Dijk going to Southampton and eventually up to Liverpool. Teams like Liverpool and stuff, they're not even bothering letting Southampton take the risk. They're now going to Calvin Ramsey at Aberdeen, give them £6 million. They're now poaching Ben Doak offers. They know the talents in Scotland now. So if they see Juranovic, a quality right back who can also play quality left back for Croatia, playing for Celtic that's where they'll come in and give them money for. And I care about that because that's the money that Celtic.
That's down to Brexit as well, mate. They're starting to go and look at the homegrown young players.
Oh, it is.
They need to fill their quotas. You know what I mean?
That's where I will agree with you.
Aberdeen, really.
That's where I will agree with you, McGinty. And the narrative that we don't care where they're going, I totally understand where you're coming from there. I agree with that narrative.
Once they leave, I don't really care what you do. As long as you do well, I don't really care what you do afterwards.
But if they are leaving Celtic and doing what Virgil van Dijk's done and doing what Kieran Tierney's done, then 100% that narrative's true. These guys are leaving Celtic. Obviously, the sell-on clauses, have got a few quid in our coffers, so as much as we say we don't give a fuck where they go and we leave the hoops, if they do leave Celtic regarding the transfer fee and stuff and what Kieran's done and what Virgil's done, then I suppose you do give a fuck. But when they leave Celtic, do we really care what they do? I don't to a certain extent, apart from KT, but that's for personal reasons.
The last player that truly left Celtic that I really watched and cared and even got emotional when he did something else was the King, Henrik Larsson. He's the only player I think that we all would agree that when he left and went to Barcelona, won the Champions League, and went to Man United and proved his worth there, that we all inside had a weird here and said, that's our man. He proved everybody. He proved Celtic right. He proved himself right. He proved everybody.
Yeah, definitely.
That's the only player I really, really got emotional and really cared about what he did afterwards. Other ones, I want to see him do well because it makes us look good, but I was proud for him.
So talking about that's obviously talking about Juranovic. So there's another guy who's been reported today as being getting interest from England, and that's David Turnbull. There's talks of West Ham looking at him, and McGinty, I spoke to you again before we came on.
How long's that been going on, man?
Well, that's what I was saying. I was sure that even last season, West Ham were talking about being interested in Turnbull, and I think Davy Moyes, correct me if I'm wrong, is possibly a big fan of Turnbull. And again, he's homegrown, he's young.
I love him, mate. I absolutely love Turnbull. I think It gets a lot. I think last year, especially when he signed, obviously before his injury, he got a lot of stick just regarding like his work rate and stuff and all that. I actually sent a message to one of my mates today and says David Turnbull's injury last year could have been the best thing to ever happen to that boy. I think watching for the sidelines with Hatate coming in, O'Reilly coming in, and just watching how Angie's team play football, the intensity, the work rate, all that kind of stuff. And I think a pre-season will be absolutely fantastic for David Turnbull. I've always just stuck my head above the parapet in regarding Turnbull. I think he's one of the classiest midfielders in Scotland, not just Celtic. I think his touch, his crossing, his finishing is absolutely fucking phenomenal. I think he could be one of our best players next year in that midfield three. I think between him and O'Reilly, you'll see a lot of switching about. But again, West Ham come in with the Europa League. There's 60 grand a week. Again, bye. But massive fan of David Turnbull. I think he's a absolutely class football player, man. I don't see. I don't know if you would agree, but in Scottish football, on the ball, final ball, crossfield passes, finishing, I don't think there's many better, by the way, in Scotland. I don't see there's many better at all.
I think
the only potential one I can see that could match him, and we need to see more of him, is Matt O'Reilly.
Aye, 100%.
Matt O'Reilly,
yep.
The way he... Danes, remember, I can't remember what game it was. He was on the right side, up front, attacking-wise, and the ball comes looping over from the left side. And he does some weird back heel, right leg goes out for the back to control the ball down before he ends up playing the ball into the box again.
Aye.
I've not seen players with that vision and foresight and ability to control a ball in such a weird and wonderful way at Celtic Park in many years. I think
he's going to be a superstar, mate.
Hang a ball anyway.
Is that because his name's O'Reilly?
No, because he spells it like a fucking idiot.
Listen, talk about Turnbull, mate. I'm going to offer a bit of a different opinion. I know
Go for it, man.
You've blown golden smoke up his arse. I think Turnbull, he's got serious technical ability, as you say. Great on the ball, great passing, great this, great that. But for me, mate, I think he flatters to deceive. For me, I don't think he's energetic enough for Angie's team, and I think he likes to go into hiding when the going gets tough. He does it well against inferior teams, but I've yet to see him turn up against teams that bring a rough and tumble. I would love to see if he stays here that he elevates himself, but mate, I've still got a lot of doubts about him.
Do you not think last year some of his best performances were in the Europa League? I do. Listen, Paddy, I certainly agree with you to a certain extent in regards to derby games and maybe games that you need a wee bit of dig. But that was my point. I'm certain that since his injury, he's looked and gone, I need to up my fucking game to get into this team next year, by the way. And I think he's a surprise package for next year. Text me in December and go, you were talking shit, you baldy bastard. But that's what I'm going to say. David Turnbull's a surprise package this year for Celtic. Just watch this boy go, man. I'm quite confident.
I saw somebody on the Talk Celtic forum earlier on today talking about Turnbull and comparing him to Ryan Christie as well. And somebody made this kind of interesting point that I thought was exactly true for both Ryan Christie and Turnbull. See, if Turnbull had the energy that Ryan Christie had, Turnbull would be the complete player and that kind of dynamic midfielder. But see, if Christie also had the composure that Turnbull has, Christie would also be a fantastic player. They both lack that energy or that composure. Now, the composure thing for Christie, he's long gone out of Celtic, so we don't really care too much. But for him, if he can find that, would be good. But for Turnbull, as Paddy says, that 6 months out, watching the sidelines, seeing the energy of this team and where he needs to be. If he wants to get back into the Celtic team, he needs to get to the levels of energy as Hatate has. and we're going to see so much more from Hatate. So if you can
if Charlie Christie pumped David Turnbull's mom, man, he'd have been some player.
Oh, what a player! if only they did it, if one went to Motherwell and one went to Inverness,
Right, here, Mr. Christie, get yourself into Wishy and pump Turnbull's mom. Get another player out of that cunt.
If Turnbull,
Paddy, I'm fucking so glad to be back, mate. I'm loving it, man. Loving it.
Is this the way to Wishy General?
We see, bring it back to the rumours of Turnbull possibly being scouted out by West Ham. If he was to leave, as it stands, I don't think it would be a major loss. There's high potential there, and I really do love him as a player. I think he's got so much to offer and so much development in him that he could be an absolute quality player. But if West Ham want to offer us double figures plus 15% sell on, I think we would take it. When you've got McGregor, Hatate, O'Reilly, that's your three centre midfielders. You've got Idiguchi about to step up. We're looking at another midfielder in the likes of, what's his name, Vinicius Swazi or whatever it is.
Vinicius Junior?
We're clearly looking at another midfielder. But we've already got 4, plus looking at another one, and Turnbull, which is then 6. That's a great wealth of talent we've got. But it wouldn't be massively lost.
No, you're right, mate. I think it would be nice, right, if he did come in and pull his socks up, for want of a better word, and started to get the digging. Again, I spoke about it last season. Maybe I've still got a beam up on it, because at the start of last season, Rogic was on fire, and you could see that he was the man driving everything through the midfield. I say, drifting forward, he was coming through the centre, he was creating things, this and that. And then when Rogic got the injury, Turnbull basically became that focal point of that midfield three. And you were expecting Turnbull to massively step up, take the mantle on, help push the team on, and he never done it. For me, mate, he just kept drifting out wide. He wanted to try the Hollywood passes all the time. Just tried to do the easy kind of stuff, do you know what I mean? But he is a quality player, but I don't want to say he's too soft for me, but
he's not got the dig. See, one of the things that we missed last season, that we all realised as the season went on, we've missed a defensive midfielder who was going to get in the face, somebody who's going to get right up close to the opponent's midfield and just get right in at them and steal the ball off them, get the kind of the shoulders high and tough, and get right in amongst it. Turnbull doesn't offer that. McGregor does to a degree. Hatate possibly could, but he was on death's door with his legs. He needs the rest. He admitted it himself in Japanese media and stuff. So maybe they can bring it and allows Turnbull to express himself a bit more casually, shall we say.
What about Gucci next year, Paddy?
I would love to see what he does. I would love to see what Ange has brought him in, so Ange must know what he can offer.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask the two of you, if you want to have a wee debate before I push myself. Because I'm 40 now and the bladder's struggling, but
just get your fucking, what is it, tenner pants for men on it.
I was going to get one, mate. Aye, but I was talking about that the other day as well. Obviously, we never seen a lot of Gucci last year. I think he had a bad injury there.
I see point. I Gucci last year.
Aye. I'm at a fucking poking your own arse, you fucking weirdo. Anyway. Aye, so obviously I get that bad. I remember us talking on either my own podcast or your podcast when the 3 Japanese guys were signing. Idiguchi was the one that was at the tip of everybody's tongue. We were all talking about it. I remember you speaking about him as well, McGinty. And he was a guy, and obviously the League Cup or the Scottish Cup tie at Alloa, I think it was, when he got that bad injury. Mm-hmm. And he kind of never really came in. I think he only played another 60 or 70 minutes before the end of the season. And we've not seen a lot of him, but is he a player next year that you think will make an impact? Obviously, with a good pre-season behind him. He's quite unknown, isn't he? But he was the guy that we thought, yes, man, he's the new Scott Brown. He's the guy in the middle of the park that's going to get a bit of dig, but he's still very, very unknown to the Celtic fans, isn't he?
That's it, exactly, Dele. He's unknown to us. As excited as we were, because we're getting the reviews and feedback from the guys like Dan Olowitz and stuff. that Ideguchi was the one to be most
He's a
excited
scud
about.
book, isn't
No, he was the one to get most
Sorry.
excited about.
he? Sorry, Dan. Sorry, Dan.
He was the one to get most excited about, but he took that injury and he never got much game time. My feeling last season was that he was always being managed and that Ange didn't want to disrupt the team too much. You saw it with the likes of Welsh didn't get much game time. You saw it with Dembele never getting into the squad at all, though obviously he's probably off the way out right now. But there wasn't much change. Once we had that after New Year settled team, nothing changed much. I think that was probably planned from Ange. And I think he's going to bring him in next season. But as you said, he's unknown. Really, he's unknown to us. What kind of player he is, we're not entirely sure. But Ange must have the plan because he signed him. You wanted him. And Ange hasn't signed a player yet that he's not had a plan for.
Aye. Can't disagree, mate. Can't disagree. I hope to see him making some sort of impact next year. Whether he does or no, we don't know.
I also wanted to ask you both a question which I don't think you can answer me because I don't think you are that clued up on Ange's previous clubs.
Don't ask it then, you fucking ignorant bastard.
Maybe somebody in the comments can. But anybody who's aware of Ange who's set up his teams previously, we all know that Ange comes in, he's got a 3-year plan almost. Second year is always the better year. We hear he knows exactly what type of football he's playing. He plays the exact same style. Plan A is play attacking high tempo football, and plan B is fucking do it better. Which is not always great, but it works for us right now, so it's all good. But we all aware that Ange very much knows what he's doing. So the question is anybody aware of how Ange has set up his midfield 3 before? Because Tom Rogic is a very advanced number 10, almost a support striker at times for Celtic.
Yeah.
Whereas the midfielders that we have currently just now, if you look at Turnbull and O'Reilly, they don't fill the Tom Rogic position. Hatate doesn't fill it. Ideguchi will never fill it. McGregor doesn't fill it. So is the plan perhaps not to replace Tom Rogic and just to have more of a defensive midfielder and 2 number 8s that can go box to box without ever replacing Tom Rogic?
See if you look at the team that Ange's building, it's all about energy, it's all about drive, it's all about fucking fast flowing, in your face kind of stuff. And the guy that we're signing, well, it looks to be that he's on his way to Glasgow. Alejandro Bernabei, Argentinian boy.
Alejandro.
Yes. boy for Lannis, 21, very, very attacking left-sided player, left back.
Looks good, man. Looks good.
He looks to be great going forward, mate. But apparently, by all
accounts, crank heat butt on him.
Defensively terribly, yes, but he's shown that he doesn't mind putting his heat where it hurts. I just think he's going for speed, he's going for energy, he's going for total just fucking go for that goal. Do you know what I mean? He's trying to go and build a team that's just going to go into the Champions League and just fly in your face. So the guys like Ideguchi fit in with it? I don't know. The guys like McCarthy fit in with it? Probably no. You know what I mean? The midfield, I think the midfield can almost kind of run itself. If you've got guys like McGregor who can get his foot in the ball and get the passes going, if you've got O'Reilly that can drive up, and whoever else comes in and partners beside that, be it Hatate or Ideguchi or somebody else, I think we're just going to be focusing a lot on just flying forward and going for it, you know what I mean? And breaking teams down with our pace and energy and speed.
Aye. I don't know. I asked that question the other day. Don't know what you two think. That obviously getting into the Champions League this year's a massive, massive step up, and we failed fucking magnificently last year in 3 competitions. So I think Ange will bring it. McGinty just touched on it there. They're talking about Ange's second season's the best. And listen, he had one and a half transfer windows and done absolutely magical things and brought us a double. But the question I asked is, the Champions League group this year could possibly be a PSG, it could be a Real Madrid, a Bayern Munich, a Man City, or whoever it may be. McGinty, do you think we'll see a different Ange Postecoglou formation getting into a big Champions League game? obviously we failed in a few occasions last year when we were kind of ahead in games in Germany and Spain and stuff. If for example, if a Manchester City or Real Madrid come to paradise, does Ange Postecoglou stick by his tried and trusted and stubbornness as a coach and say, "This is how I play. That this is what I'm going to do"?
I think he does.
I was thinking about it earlier, and I thought this guy's as stubborn as fuck, man. I don't think he's going to change his system, but I think the signings might use a wee telltale to that.
I think he sticks by what he does, and I think Brendan Rodgers did it as well, but to a very bad way. Brendan Rodgers was too content in playing exactly the way he wanted to play, which was possession-based football. But you can't play possession-based football against clubs like Barcelona, Man City, PSG, who also play possession-based football and are so much better than us. But Ange doesn't play possession-based football. Possession comes out of the way that Ange plays, which is high-tempo, all-out attack, get in the face, don't stop, never stop. We stop at half-time and we stop at the end of the game where we celebrate, famous quotes now. I think we go into these Champions League games almost with the exact same intent. Maybe the personnel might change just to be a bit more sensible, but the setup is going to be the same. The intent is going to be the same. And it's not going to be, can we get the ball, please, so we can pass it around 20 times before we have an attempt on goal. It's going to be, here's the fucking ball, and we're going to run at you. And I think that will put a lot of teams on the back foot, regardless how small or how big the teams are. The question is our backline going to be sound enough? Because, your PSGs are going to come at you with Messi and Neymar. They need to be on their game. We might still score 2 or 3 against PSG, but if we open ourselves up, as we've seen before, they'll score 7.
I know. I think there's going to be a bit of a balance there, but as Dale says, is Ange going to change his system? I don't think so. I think we're just going to play.
I genuinely don't think so. Look at the Betis games. How close were we in the Betis games? And the was it Leverkusen games as well? We could have won those 2 games, but we know and this is a great thing about having Ange. Ange knows what his style is, and we all know what his style is as well. It's very easy for us as fans to get on board with Ange and his style because we all blatantly know and see what he's trying to do in a positive, good way. So we know where we went wrong last season. And I think with Carter Vickers and Starfelt and Hart cemented in their positions, with improved Ralston, improved Juranovic, left back definitely coming in, the midfield being more settled, I think the team goes in with so much more experience and organisation that they don't concede those games next time around. I think they've learnt already. I know we need to see it in proof, but I think they've learnt already. You don't make those mistakes twice in an Ange team.
Right, so just going into the last kind of 7 minutes. Another one who left Celtic today was Liam Scales. So he's joined Aberdeen on a year's a season-long loan. I don't think there's any option in it to make it a permanent transfer. I think Jim Goodwin is probably going to be playing him as a centre-back or the left side of a back three or whatever. So that Scales gone, never made much of an impact. Wasn't expected to by a lot. But that now leaves another space at the back where we've lost another player. But we've heard the quotes for Julian the last few days, who was reported a few weeks back to say that he'd spoke to Postecoglou, made his feelings known that he wasn't happy. If he doesn't get football, he'll need to leave. He saw him on Trophy Day, and he didn't look kind of that involved. It was as if he was just kind of mooching about his own, that kind of thing. But again, he's come out the last couple of days and said that he's want to stay here. He's want to fight for his place in the team. So we all know what happened to Julian. He had the injury. He was out for over a year. Do you guys think that we need to go out and sign another defender if Julian comes back to some sort of form and fitness? Because obviously, no, he was a first-team player for us before he got injury.
I think with Julian coming out with that is absolutely fucking refreshing. For a guy last year that was kind of, I wouldn't say just left at the side. We spoke about it, Paddy, that the partnership of Carter Vickers and Starfelt was absolutely phenomenal last year. I don't think they lost a league goal in so many games. So for Julian to come out, I think last year we heard a couple of rumblings that he was playing in the B side and he was a bit pissed off and blah blah blah. And obviously Stephen Welsh last year looked as if he was kind of the number 3 centre half, but even Welsh being called the number 3 centre half, then Julian never had a look in. Stephen Welsh played very, very limited minutes. So for Julian to come out, who played 16 minutes against Wraith Rovers last year, and say, I want to stay, fucking good on him, man. That's what I like to hear as a Celtic fan. That's what I like to hear. Hopefully it does make an impact. If Starfelt or Carter Vickers get injured next year, I think the Champions League's a big thing in regards to that, because the two of them never broke sweat last year in the SPL. They never broke sweat. So I think if you're up against a higher standard in the Champions League and you're playing against guys that can possibly run you fucking ragged, then there's more chance of an injury. I would be more comfortable with Julian being at Celtic than not being there if that's going to happen. So certainly, if he does leave, then I definitely think we need to bring in a better quality player than Stephen Welsh in regards to European football. And that's no me speaking badly Welsh, because I'm a big fan of the boy. I really like him.
Yep, I'd agree on the most of that. My views maybe slightly different, but yeah, overall, absolutely fine. I have no problems with Julian coming out with his comments just before the end of the season, basically not demanding, but he basically was saying, I'm chapped at the door. I want to play. If I'm not going to play here, I will move on. Again, he's 27, 28. He's not getting any younger. His contract's running out, I think, at the end of next year, sort of thing. He needs to be playing football. He's not content on sitting on the sidelines. I think that's absolutely refreshing and brilliant to hear. He's not an 18 or 19. I want every player to chap on the manager's door. No matter how old you are, I want to see a 16, 17, 18-year-old confident in his own ability to say, manager, play me, give me time, get me on that pitch. Because I think that shows confidence in themselves. But when you're 16, 17, 18, 19, I think you also need to prove that you're good enough. You can't just demand to play. You need to ask the question. You need to chap the manager's door, and you need to show the manager that you're capable of doing it. When you're 27, 28, and you're Christopher Julian, who's been around the block, and you've been at Celtic a few years, I think you've got every right to turn around and say, I'm not sitting on the bench any longer. Play me, or I'm going to look for a move. He's now coming out, and he's now saying, I'm happy to stay. But again, only if I'm going to play. So if you've got a fit Julian, happy to play, and is going to be played by Ange, then that is 3 quality centre-backs that we can rely on. And then you can look at the likes of Welsh, you can say, Welsh, number 4, get those 10, 15 games, or probably better yet, go out on loan and let Welsh develop out on loan at a club, again, like an Aberdeen or United, where we get 30-plus games. That'd be great for Welsh. And then we can look towards Lawal or Murray to step up to get those 10 games or so as the 4th choice rotation, because they also need their own development. Another thing we've said plenty of times on this podcast, we need to see development paths for these young players. And if we're going to keep Julian and keep Welsh, then Lawal and Murray have no hope. But if you get rid of Welsh positively on loan, then they can get those 10 games. And that's great. And if you have Julian, it saves us having to buy any more players for centre-back. If Julian leaves, we need to go spend another $5 million. We need to buy another one. But
I still think we need to do that anyway, mate. I still think we need to go and sign another quality centre-back, because, like, Julian's 29, mate, and he's going to be 30 in March. You know, he's not played football he's been injured for over a year. He's played 14, 16 minutes last season against Wraith Rovers, as Del says. So he's hardly played any first-team football. For nearly 2 years, you know what I mean? And he's 29. My only worry is that the injury has taken a chunk out of Julian's kind of sharpness. Is he going to be sharp enough for Angie's team if he's want to play this energetic football? I don't think so. I think it would be great if we could get a Julian pre-injury kind of form Julian.
Yeah, but if we can find him again and he finds his energy for this tempo and this style, he's invaluable to us. I think it's brilliant. If he's not got that sharpness, if he's not got that passion, or whatever it is you want to call it, then we should move him on for our own benefit and his benefit as well, and we go out and find somebody else. If Julian leaves, we do need to replace Julian at the caliber of Pete Julian, because you cannot go into the Champions League, and in fact, you can't go into any European competition and rely solely on 2 first choice centre backs. Ideally, you want 4. Really, ideally, you want 4, but you at least need 3. 3 with a good 4th choice youngster is fine, but you cannot go into next season Champions League with just 2 centre backs and Starfelt and Carter Vickers.
No.
As good as they were last season, totally agree with Dell. I mean, did they ship many goals after they got the run of them? We all know Starfelt was shaking his first 3-4 games, but once those 2 were settled with Joe Hart behind them, they were unstoppable. They were fantastic. And they'll do it again next season, I'm pretty sure of it. But they need somebody else in there to relieve them when they are looking a bit legged, or if one of them takes an injury, a la Starfelt just now.
I'll still say that if Celtic come up against a very, very good top class European side, that Starfelt will fucking struggle big time. I will. I'll say it.
Yeah.
I think he'll be like
those worries are going to be there until he proves us wrong.
Yeah.
But I think he's proven enough over the season, as you said.
Oh, he's made an absolute cunt to me, mate. He's made an absolute cunt to me, as well as Greg Taylor.
Paddy and me as well. Yeah, Paddy and me were all for it the first 2 or 3 weeks of the season. Me and Paddy were all about, like, this guy's getting played on the wrong side of the back line.
Paddy knows. I think my first 75 podcasts were slating Greg Taylor. So Greg Taylor as well had a great season last year, but Champions League level, nah. He's well played the 3 years at the back.
But yeah.
And there's Frank Brennan, the Victor Meldrew of the commenters. Never mind, Julian. Both Cameron Carter-Vickers and Starfelt are going to seriously struggle against Europe's very best, particularly for pace.
That's what I just said, Frank. Stop calling me Baldy, you prick. I'll fun it with you stay.
No, that was Origan.
And also, Nebworth was brilliant, mate. Thank you for asking.
I think that was Frank Kennedy you're talking about.
Right, well, whatever, Franks, get up, he's Frank.
two Franks.
The two Franks.
So, I'm just looking at the time, guys. We'll need to round up with the last one. So, obviously, the name was mentioned earlier on. I think it was yourself, McGinty. Vinicius Souza. I think the big defensive midfielder for that team in Belgium that's part of the City group. Lovren, is it? Or Lovren or something. I think that rumour is kind of dying a death. But there's another name that's been mentioned today, mate, and it is Semedo. I can't remember his first. Alfie Semedo or something.
Oh, I've seen that. Who's that?
So basically, he spent time at Nottingham Forest.
Oh, aye.
He then went to Reading, and he's now in Portugal.
Right.
So
he's shite then.
Pretty much. I think he had a good spell at Nottingham Forest. When he went to Reading, and he was pish, for want of a better word. I think in Portugal now, he is not doing very well. I think some of the comments that I've seen is that he's positionally kind of all over the place. Some of the comments again, when he was in England, he doesn't know if he's a number 6 or a number 8, but he's possibly better as a number 8 because his pitch is a number 6. So I don't think, I'm seriously hoping that this is just one of these stupid transfer rumours. Because if you look at him, he's worse. He looks worse than Sorrow. He just looks like a big leggy. He just looks like a big. He looks like a giraffe that's fucking trying to play football on ice or something. Just these big daft fucking praying mantis legs, man. I'm not too keen on this one, to be honest. Right, gold with big legs. McGinty, your mic's away, pal. There we go.
So I was just going to say, if that's the level that Semedo's at, if that's the reviews that we're getting back, let down at Reading, move to Portugal. What team is he at Portugal?
There you go. Nobody
so-
knows,
so
so that
I'm
tells
guessing
you.
not Benfica, and
Know what I
not
mean?
Porto, and not Lisbon. So
Exactly.
No.
Exactly, mate.
not that it matters 100% where you come from, sort of thing. It's all about the player themselves. But if that's his kind of trajectory, and the reports that we're getting back is that he's not quite there positionally, enthusiasm and all the rest of it, then it doesn't sound to me anyway that we're signing him if we are as a first choice midfielder.
Yeah.
So is he going to improve us? No. So
Aye.
I've always been of the opinion, if you're going to sign somebody that's not a youngster, if you're going to sign somebody who's in the mid-20s or whatever age he is, he has to improve your first team. Otherwise, you know, we've got McGregor, Hatate,
He
Turnbull
signed Neil
already.
Lennon when he
We
was
need
29,
better.
but McGinty.
He improved the first team though.
Aye.
At the time, he ruined the first team, 20 years later, but that's a whole different story.
So this Alpha Semedo, mate, he's at Vitoria Guimarães.
Where'd you
he's-
pull
he's
that
been-
man? You never knew fucking 2 minutes ago.
Google, mate.
Ah, right, okay. Well done, Ross. Well done, Ross. Well done, Ross.
I didn't even see that, mate. I was Googling it at the side.
Aye, sure you did.
Shut up, you fucking sheepshagger.
Victoria Guimarães playing the black and white stripes, do they?
Aye, and funny enough, Ryan Gold, I'm pretty sure, played there as well a couple of years ago. Did he? Is that not the team that he played for in the second division?
Possibly on
Got
loan.
promoted
He went to
played
Sport
years.
Lisbon first, didn't he?
Aye, I'm sure he was there.
And then he played in the Portuguese first division as well. I think he's an American, isn't he?
Aye, he's telling
I
that,
believe
isn't
so,
he?
yeah. Him and Lewis Morgan are absolutely tearing up that league.
Lewis Morgan's left into Miami as well, but he's away.
Is he in New York now or something? I think he's
Aye,
in New York, is he?
Aye. I think him and Ronnie Dyle are actually partners.
Is it him and Ronnie Dyle, and then you've got
No,
Patrick
Ronnie Dyler's
Lamala?
Ronnie
Yeah,
Dyler's
Ronnie
but-
Dyler's at New York City.
No, Ronnie
Aye,
Dyler's
Lamala
so
and somebody else.
Ryan Gold.
Ronnie Dyler's at Standard Liège now.
Has he
So
actually
he
made
is.
that move?
Aye, because big,
I know that was rumoured.
big companies at Burnley, aren't they?
Nice. And you got Patrick Lamala still at Red Knock, New York Red Bulls.
I seen another ex-Celtic player today actually, back in Bio.
Oh,
His
aye,
signing
aye.
for. Did you see that, McGinty?
No, but I remember who we're talking about.
So he scored 11 goals in 15 appearances in a Belgian side last year, Cheryl, something like that. No, I think it's possibly Wolverhampton or something like that are interested in signing him.
Wolverhampton, that's no bad signing for them.
Aye, Victor Bayo, man. Victor Bayo. I'm just reading that there.
Well noted with your conversation. So I think that's a good time and a good sign.
Aye, Victor Bayo.
Victor Meldrew Bayo all the way for the Ivory Coast.
Aye, so no, I seen something today. I think Bayo was at loan last year somewhere.
The guys are saying Watford. I don't know.
Watford, sorry, Watford, they're trying to sign Bayo for next year.
What?
100%, mate. I seen it today. I seen it on Sky Sports. I seen a couple of the Twitterati posts as well. So, aye, Victor Bayo for Watford. Played up front. They fucking
mental.
Abbey Kakin Fembu.
Could we have ever sold Bio to fucking Watford for any sort of money 3 years ago? No chance.
Nah, mate.
Anyway,
God knows, I don't know, but that's just fucking blowing my mind, that one. But I'm just looking at the time, guys. So I think we'll wrap it up after that.
Aye, man.
Anecdote about Victor Bio going to Watford.
Victor Bayo.
But aye, usual. Cheers for everybody watching.
Pleasure.
All the comments,
pleasure.
absolutely brilliant. If you haven't done it, usual, give us a wee like and a subscribe on the YouTube.
Yeah.
Get us on the Twitter, Jungle Jibs Pod, all that.
Like,
Shite.
subscribe, ding the bell.
That's
Ding
aye.
the bell.
Ding that wee bell for all that.
That's it, man.
Free for all that free content.
Here, Paddy, Don't think you're getting away with my Celtic story because of jump shit, because you're still in my fucking diary, son.
I don't like buses, mate. I prefer trains.
Aye, we'll take the train then once I stop the strike.
Certainly, mate. We'll get it set up, mate. We'll get it set up. But aye, cheers everybody, and we'll see you next Tuesday.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
Cheers, guys.
All
Appreciate
right,
it.
We might
God bless, man. God bless.
Another couple of wee guests on next week, hopefully. So we'll see what happens. But catches.
Catch you later.